People above 30, what is something you regret doing/not doing when you were younger? Worked an awful dead-end job for way too long. This is a little complicated. But I wish I had been able to come to terms with not caring what people think of me when I was younger. It did wonders for my confidence. Standing up for myself. I lived way too long trying to make others happy and letting them manipulate me. My family used this to their fullest advantage. I stopped it now, but wish I had the backbone 20 years ago. Staying in shape. It is so much harder later in life to keep up. Lose weight and all the rest. Teeth, wish I'd brushed and flossed more regularly. Gone to the dentist every 6 months, etc. My friends and I talked about doing a 2 to 3 week Europe trip back in our 20s. Oh, maybe next year. Eventually jobs, bills and families put all that to rest. Started smoking cigarettes. Did it for about 30 years, although I've quit now. Don't do it, kids. I regret thinking that nice things were not for people like me. The number of experiences, travel, career opportunities one turned down is crazy. All because I didn't think I was good enough to deserve them. Not taking my education seriously. I regret doing what my parents expected of me instead of what I wanted to do. I did my thesis on regret as a function of age, using a survey with 1,400 participants. The overwhelming finding was that regret for things that you failed to do, omission regrets, stick with you much more than regrets for things you did, commission regrets. Furthermore, when we are young, omission regrets are less salient and meaningful. As we age, regret for things we fail to do bother us more, while we tend to get over our commission regrets. This is not surprising. What was surprising was that people with a sense of spirituality find that having regret, regardless of the type, is a useful experience. And they benefit from revisiting or thinking about these things in several domains. Making sense of life, fostering social connections, and guiding future decisions. Not realizing how quickly needing to be an adult creeps up on you. I remember being 17 and thinking 30 was so far away. Now I'm closing in on 40 and wishing I had done more to prep for being an adult. Dealing with my trauma instead of running from it. I wish I hadn't treated life like it was a rehearsal. I didn't do drugs or drink dangerously or do anything exciting enough to be worth the risk. But I lost friends and family by just being selfish. I shouldn't have been so impulsive or assumed there would always be second chances. My grandmother died and left me, and only me, a sizable inheritance. The same year I had just finished chemo and thought perhaps a windfall was an upswing. I knew my grandmother a little. But I left home pretty early and enlisted after that. So we never had a relationship really, but I got out and away. And the rest of our family were vipers. Which was enough to put me at the top. My brother, feeling left out, challenged the will. And emptied his savings doing so. I offered him half. But he felt entitled to all of it. At the end of it, penniless and desperate, my brother ended his own life. Most of the money was eaten up in court. And what was left wasn't much. If you ever receive news of an inheritance or windfall, please consider that your family may destroy itself in pursuit of the money. Even if they're going to act that way anyway, you will at least be able to sleep at night. As a 24 years old, I appreciate all of you. Not taking school seriously. Not learning to play an instrument. Not choosing a sport and sticking to it. Not being unapologetically myself. Investing. Getting married so young. I'm getting divorced now. But I wish I had more single time in my 20s. Education seriously, traveled more. Cut off toxic people sooner. Invested in my future and didn't blow money on dumb 100 sit-ups every day. Quit drinking. Alcohol sucks and it's really bad for you. Wasn't an alcoholic. Just got really bad hangovers and anxiety after drinking. Haven't had a sip in 51 weeks. This is the right question. Your regrets are usually due to not doing something you could have controlled. The answer to your question is put yourself out there and go do it. Whatever it is. Asking more girls out. Being more fearless and taking more chances. Travel. 1. You have a family. Career, mortgage payments, etc. The time, resources and energy for travel just seem to disappear. I regret not blocking toxic family members from my life. Kinda the opposite of most people. But I wish I partied more. I worked all throughout college and didn't have that typical college experience of going to parties. Drinking, whatever. I kinda did that when I was like 27 to 29, but that's all I got. By the time I was 30, I wanted to get it together. Which I did. You should never compare yourself/your life to other people. But looking back, my 20s were generally pretty boring when you look at what most other people were doing at that time in their lives. Wear sunscreen. Buying a house in 2009 when prices were rock bottom. Excuse me, 30 is still young, but mine would be acting like I'm 30 and not enjoying my teens and 20s like I should. Never buy a new boat. Always buy used. I wish I had treated myself with respect and taken my mental health seriously. I'm doing that now and it's making a big difference. Prioritize making new friends when you graduate from college. Studying during the day while in college. I had so much downtime between classes. I instead chose to watch TV or use my PlayStation. Starting my YouTube channel. I was too scared. Now I'm at 67,000 subscribers after a year and 3-ish months. Hashtag should have started aggressively saving for retirement immediately after high school. I'm currently estranged from my parents. They have the ability to end this at any time. They just won't. They controlled me all through my childhood and I kept chasing approval from them. I missed out on so many experiences because I wanted to be an obedient good kid. I wish I had done more when I was younger. Drugs, rock and roll. Instead, I was consumed with panic attacks over losing my 4.0 and now that I'm a burnt-out gifted kid in my 30s. I really struggle to relate to people my own age. All the drinking in my late teens into my mid-20s. Who knows where I'd be now if I hadn't wasted so much time and money getting with a bunch of losers back then. I regret changing degrees in pursuit of my idiotic dreams. No regrets, I feel like I could have done better, but I don't like to live in the past. Just keep the grind now. As it's never too late. Loving myself. I regret the power I gave others to decide my self-worth. I regret buying into the workplace when I was younger. Being the go-to guy isn't going to put food on the table. It's not going to pay your medical bills. It's not going to get you that promotion. Unless you have a contract stating X will get you Y, do not go out of your way to help businesses. Don't be lazy. But don't be consistently picking up other people's slack or rushing to put out fires. Studying abroad. I'm 34. Recently divorced, and thinking about finally doing it next year. But I can't help but to feel I should stay where I am and focus on finding a new partner. Around more. Following rules too much made for a boring childhood. I, 32F, deeply regret prioritizing romantic relationships over personal development because that is how you create stability for yourself. Not relying on a husband. Not relying on a partner. But by building it yourself. That and getting super sedentary. Not standing up for causes I believe in. I wish I had been more vocal and active in advocating for social justice and equality. Psychedelics, regret not doing. I worked from when I was 15. Worked in college. Worked straight out of college. I wish I took time for myself to have fun and do something. Anything else than working. Waiting for the perfect moment to act. Easy to talk about your goals while sitting on your hands waiting until the perfect moment. That moment doesn't exist.